Good evening, dear friends, and welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. It is Saturday night, and on a Saturday when the three of us are gathered together, we normally play something completely different. But this week is different, as we could not gather together on Friday, so we're here together on a Saturday. We've all returned to the Baltic Star house. We've pulled the curtains. We're all sat around the same table together. All our walls are painted differently in different corners, and but we're sat enjoying an evening together before we head up the old wooden hill to bed again. But in the couple of hours before that, we're going to sit and we're going to play Traveller together, dear friends, ourselves and with you, our dear friends that are watching. Spinland, especially, hello. Thank you for joining us this evening. Settle in, come close, shuffle up a chair, That's right, join us at the table with your booze or your teas. And we're going to do some sci-fi. We're going to go for maybe a bit less than 2 hours tonight, until about 1:15 UK time. Stay for as long or as short as you want. We play quite casually, and we play quite chattily, and we'll interact with the chat at times when we're able to. Things that get said in chat might spin over into the stream. We might welcome people in. So if you want super professional stuff, then this is not the place for you. But if you want a place that's just a relaxed table where we sort of say hi when a friend appears at a door, then you know you're in the right place. If you want, click on the red sun to spend some credits. You can't take them with you, so you might as well spend them here. Anything with the darkish pink, play some sort of tune. Hopefully, I think most of them are working at the minute. Otherwise, the more expensive ones will do things for the. I can't speak. Do things for the stream. So you can give us a boon, make someone give a tale, name an NPC. Why not? We haven't had one of that for a while. Your person gets built into the story. Make one of us speak about something for a minute. Make one of us hit someone in game. Make Stefan steal something. If we get back to Stefan, that'd be brilliant right now. Do it when he's in the middle of a really seriously led dystopian nightmare. See how that goes down when he's got to spend 40 years on floor 1000 when he's caught. So have a flick around and see what you want. There's one thing that Ben's already shown. Well, one credit, and one credit only. Is that a wholeness we think it might be? We do I'll drink to that. So if you agree with anything, I'll drink to that. We'll raise a glass, raise a mug, whatever it is, and we'll drink to that together. I think that's everything I need to say right now. I think we need to introduce each other and get on with the show. My name is Luke. Hello, I'm in the top right-hand corner. I'm here, and Ewan's banning all our viewers. I was going to click on that. I want some free viewers.
Yes, that's what we want.
Too late. Should have been quicker.
Heartbreaking. Anyway.
I felt as though I gave you time.
You did want to say, no, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'm bringing something positive, honest. So I'm Luke. I play two characters in this game. I play Soraya, who is there holding a beer. She is, she was a scout for over a decade, learning to be around people now, enjoying a drink and a cheesy ball. Over the far side is Kara. She is an artist. She's a hacker. She's a carouser. She works trading goods. She's that sort of person. And I love them both very much. Speaking of someone else I love very much is the man directly below me. There he is. He's my brother from another mother. He's the Floofmeister General and the housewife's favourite. He is the wonderful Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hey, Luke. I'm doing very well, thanks. I'm very well. Well rested and raring to go. Excited about our where we left off last time. Excited? Nervous? Something like that.
Who do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. I'm hoping it's Greyhill.
Please still my heart. If only we hadn't. I knew it couldn't be because we accidentally churned him up into a paste while trying to preserve his body.
Mm. Well, you never know. There might have been like a delayed reaction to your medic roll.
Oh, I like it. That's good thinking. Or perhaps this is like that 9th season of Dallas, and it's like Bobby Ewing coming out the shower. It was all a dream after all.
I like it.
I'd take it. I'd happily tear up all my notes for the last 4 years if it was true that it was actually Michael Fassbender. Oh,
What a price to pay.
I wouldn't cry at all.
I would do the same and
Oh,
probably be done several days earlier.
You just have to go, and that's you done.
Yeah, it wouldn't take you as long though, would it?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So, who are you playing in this magical tale of ours?
I am playing 2 characters as well. I am playing the second from the left, Agnar Arnson, military tactician and medic, the floofiest of all of us, and possibly the weakest member of the crew physically.
Well, I think that's true, actually.
It's probably very accurate, yeah. And I also play Stefan Miller, who is the other gent sat around the table who's not alternating in and out. He is a sneaky space rogue, partial to the occasional backflip.
Oh, it's been a while.
Too long. Maybe once we leave this dystopian hellhole, he'll have something to celebrate.
Oh, he should have something to celebrate at all times, really. I think we need to give him more things to celebrate. I'd like to bring back a regular backflip. In fact, I might change one of the,
speak
the
to
points
Ben.
things. Yeah, give him more reasons to backflip. Good plan. Speaking of Ben, there he is. Look at him. Everyone look down. Look downwards. He's there. We look down on him physically because when it comes to intelligence and gentlemanliness and importance, we all look up to him. For he is the smartest man in any room. He lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence and is often to be found being carried around Faversham in a sedan chair on the top of 6 heavily oiled, topless Eastern European gentlemen. He is the Queen of Faversham himself. It is Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you?
I am well, thank you. Yes, very well. I'm very much looking forward to this.
You should be. Who do you think is the masked man?
I mean, I suppose it would be weird if I were to offer a guess. Because I actually know.
It was worth a try. Well, are you what does it feel like as a GM? Briefly, what does it feel like as a GM when you've got a referee, as it is in Trevor? When you have a nugget of interesting knowledge that we don't know and it's driving us crazy, and you're holding it over us. What's the feeling that it gives you?
Well, it depends what it is, because there are always 2 possible reactions. One is that's good. There's an interesting story, and they're chewing on it. You know, they're biting on it and engaging with it, and that's always nice. And the other is, I clearly failed to provide the relevant information up to this point that would allow them to make informed decisions.
Oh, I need to go back through my notes again.
Can we get a little nugget graphic that we can put on screen, held above us for such instances? Just a visual representation. Yeah, that's the one, Ben.
That's the one. It flashes up. This is important. Make a note of this. Oh. Well.
To be fair, Johnny does. I was more like the beer bottle of Damocles, but
the empty
he's
beer
trying
bottle
his
of
best.
Damocles. Oh, well, I'm going to look forward to it. But in order to finally find out what's going on, we need to first be introduced to the evening. So if you would, Ben, we would be forever in your debt.
Well, of course. On Darkmoon, as one group of our heroic travellers are making their way back to the floating city, Exeunt, pursued by squid. 4 of our heroes are enjoying the hospitality of the ice cap. They've made a connection with Tally Helinsky, daughter of the planetary governor, and with Brack and Garaval, an escapee from the city and a community leader among the original inhabitants of the planet, respectively. They were formulating a plan, or at least the beginnings of the shape, of the outline of the concept of the idea of a plan, but their progress was interrupted by the arrival of Arlen Locke, or Sir Arlen Locke, as he styles himself. He certainly considers himself the betrothed of Tally and has arrived in a large and threatening landing ship to effect her rescue from the ice cap. Of course, she has been living in the ice for a year, so there's that. His ship is a Type 909 assault cruiser, which you don't get as a free prize in a cereal box. Rather old technology these days, it was used by the Imperium to land battalions of troops onto hostile worlds, and has become a favoured starship for the more aggressive mercenary elements of the galaxy.
11,000 tons, I've heard.
11,000 tons, yeah. Our heroes, Agnar, Soraya, Johnny, and Syl, took Tally out of the network of tunnels under the ice and met Locke on the surface. He came alone and unarmed, if you don't count the circling assault cruiser. After exchanging some reasonably friendly words, Locke took the group to where Soraya had left the shuttle, where Soraya and Syl got out and made the shuttle ready. Meanwhile, Locke flew Agnar and Syl up to the cruiser, a ship delightfully named Bloodbath. As they docked with the cruiser, Locke led them into the huge vessel and said, "Welcome aboard." So, before we get onto the sort of Soraya firing up her ship, we should take a brief moment for Agnar and Syl to get some first impressions.
I thought you were going to say first aid. I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. What's happened?
Oh, it's gone early.
It's all got a bit drastic.
It's called Bloodbath for a reason.
Yeah.
The ship has a fairly substantial hangar. There are a lot of gantries and mooring points for small craft, shuttles, landing craft, and the like. And the hangar is not only very big, it is also completely empty apart from the shuttle that brought you up here. And when you glance around inside, let me think. I'm going to ask that you roll a streetwise check, please, with intellect. But you can have a boon because of your military service.
Oh.
Nothing to do with military tactics, I think. Take it.
Let me think. Yeah, you know what? If you'd prefer to use military tactics, you can. Or recon, actually, if you have that.
Lose the boon for those, or
No, you can still have your boon.
that's very kind. That's good. That is 9 on the dice, plus 3, plus 0 for 12, please, Ben.
Okay. Back in your days working with military units, if any of those units had allowed a ship to get into this level of disrepair and basic scrap heapedness, somebody would have been court-martialed over it. The ship looks to be in pretty terrible condition. It's old and bits of it are not looking like they're working very well. Various mounting points around the hangar bay have electronic devices that handle everything from docking mechanisms to airlocks and the like, and several of them appear to be non-functional, with red lights indicating that something's broken on the panel next to them.
Agnar will turn to our host and thank you for the welcome. It's a fine vessel. Was the name inherited, or I know a lot of these have been decommissioned and are now for use in slightly different roles?
I picked the name myself. The original name didn't seem to fit.
To fit the intended use or your persona, the image.
The nature of the mission, I think. Yes. It was called Sarah's Pride.
How are we spelling that?
CERA,
C
and then
E.
Pride.
So like Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Oh. Thank you.
Anything that not a name, I suppose, that would ring any bells?
There's no reason you would know it. No.
I'm assuming there were lots of these shipped off the production line at one point or another.
They will have made a fair number, yes, and they'll have named them as seemed reasonable at the time.
Oh well, it's very much sends a message. It's forthright. It's blunt.
Well, thank you.
I like it.
I felt it conveyed a certain enthusiasm.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Anyway, shall we? And he walks over to the airlock and begins to cycle it. He hits the panel and nothing happens, so he hits it a couple more times, a bit more vigorously, and then you can hear the airlock cycle, and the door opens and he steps inside.
Just what you want from your airlocks.
Mm-hmm.
Agnar will follow, and once we've stepped inside proper, does it appear to be very much the same?
Yeah,
standard.
it looks pretty ropey, actually. It works seemingly. I mean, when he hits the panel, the outer door shuts, and rather grudgingly, the green light comes on, indicating positive pressure as it fills up. But it doesn't inspire an enormous amount of confidence in the slick and smooth running of the ship.
Sure. Agnar will look around and take it all in for a bit. Is there visibly like a large crew on board?
Well, as you step through, you actually walk into what you might call a crew ready room. There are racks on the walls for infantry weapons.
What? Telons? So many Telon racks are here. Ah, yes.
So there are racks, there are benches, there are lockers and things like that in this space, and all of the racks seem to be empty. There's no indication the lockers have seen much recent use. A couple of them don't appear to close properly, slightly dented doors, and they don't really fit very well. Off that space, there are doors to crew accommodations, but the impression you get is that it's a very quiet ship.
Okay.
The vessel is designed to move troops by the battalion, but the impression you get is that there's not really that many people aboard.
Yeah. That's because they've all taken the shuttles down to the surface. They're already on planet. Agnar will turn to him and say, I believe your original conversation with Tally was about how long it had been since you were able to find them. Can I ask how you came across them at this moment in time? It seems a delightful coincidence.
He glances at Tally and then throws a slightly guilty glance at Syl, and then says, "We should talk on the bridge. I'm sure your friends will find their way up here." And he sets off to a lift, which seems to be just waiting. And when the doors open, there's a noticeable sort of grinding and groaning noise from them. But he steps inside. He hasn't removed his helmet yet. And following that lead, nor have Tally or Syl. Not yet. I don't know if you've popped yours yet.
Agnar won't have done,
Okay.
I suppose, without somebody else doing so.
Then inside, the lift doors close and you head up. Slight creak and groan from the lift as it moves. And we will briefly cut to Soraya, who is with... Syl is with Soraya, not... It was Johnny I meant, on the ship. Syl is with Soraya on the planet's surface. And Soraya is in the process of gearing up the shuttle for launch.
Syl, what do you think? So what do you think of the guy, huh?
Good point. Let me roll for her. Oh, okay. She immediately says, his mannerisms suggest a reasonable level of education, and he seems to be of a traditional mindset. When he approached, he stood far too close to us to be tactically astute. If we'd divided into multiple directions and come at him all at once, he'd have had no chance to open fire on more than one of us before we closed the gap. He's not used to combat, not used to threat, but he speaks well, and I would suggest he negotiates well and probably has a reasonable mind. Not strong in streetwise, not strong in... I suspect you wouldn't find it difficult to put him in a situation he was unable to cope with. But if he's of the breeding he claims to be, he's probably pretty strong with a drink in his hand and a convivial atmosphere.
That is good to know. That would make some sense. So as long as we're not suddenly surrounded by 1,000 heavily armed Marines, physically at least, we might not necessarily be too badly off.
That would certainly shift the balance of power.
Interesting. Okay. So could you pull the door for me, please? I'm just going to get this fired up.
She pops the hatch shut and sits down, throwing a strap over her lap. Unless you tell her not to, she'll actually sit in the co-pilot's seat.
Bold.
Oh. But, is the Syl, before you do, can you just check that the mimosa's dried out? I don't want you getting wet on your suit. Sure.
She ignores the instruction as she sits down and says, it's proof to hard vacuum, high levels of X-ray radiation, and probably drinks.
Yeah, you say that. That's all very well and good, but I wouldn't necessarily trust it. I made this to Greyhill Bast's own measurements. This will put hairs on your eyeballs. It'll burn through a suit in seconds. But if it's dried, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, hold on. So yes, when the cameras go funny, it's because I'm clicking around. I was trying to find something out on our encyclopedia we have. So when I click off something, the cameras go bad. So yes, it's a bad sign.
So now you know when Luke's looking something up.
Yeah, when I'm looking at something. That always happened in the Truth Foragers. I'd suddenly go because I'm like looking up something that Ben's thrown me an absolute curveball. Talking about some like magician from the 1860s. I'm on Wikipedia like, oh no.
Because I never throw a hospital pass.
Oh, Okay, I'm good to go. Come on, right. So you're looking good. You look comfy. That seat suits you. Let's
Yeah, I'm ready to go if you are.
let's head up to the blood bath.
Okay, can
Sounds
you
nice.
roll a pilot check for me, please, with your education?
I will. Pilot
Or
skills.
actually, you can use Dex if you prefer.
No, let's use intellect. Do you say
No, it'll
intellect?
be education or Dex.
Education. Oh, they're the same. But I've got some pilot skills at least, so that's okay. I was educated well enough until Stefan entered my life and wowed me with his naughty ways.
Oh, don't blame me.
I feel like I've
Don't
wasted
blame you.
a really good roll there. 11 plus 1 is a 12.
Okay, all right. So you lift off very smartly and cleanly from the surface and head off towards the cruiser above you. With that roll, of course, you'll sail very smoothly into the docking bay, and you can dock at one of any number of mooring points in the open hangar. The hangar is not pressurized, so you don't have to think in terms of the you know in terms of docking directly to a hatch, but there are plenty of places to moor onto the structure.
And she'll do exactly that. She'll fly into it, looking for where the other shuttle is, and set herself down relatively close. Maybe a couple of parking spaces across.
Okay, and then you can cycle your own airlock and head out.
Um, oof, look at this, eh? I thought the Keller room was bad. Go on, Sil. Don't take off your helmet yet.
I wasn't planning on it.
That's good. Just make sure you're worried. It's just your suit's okay, yeah.
Yep, all good.
That's good. That's good. Come on, after you.
Okay, you make your way cycling the airlock and step out onto the gantry. The cruiser is in atmosphere, so there is some wind and some dust, but it's in thin atmosphere. And there's an element of gravity in the hangar simply due to the atmospheric nature of your position. But because the ship is flying, it's a bit erratic. You can't necessarily rely on it. You'll be moved about a bit by it. But the gantries are proper military level technology. They are hugely over engineered with massive, mooring points and handholds, even though it's only a meter or two from the airlock to the sort of side areas where the balconies are around the hangar. And there are any number of airlocks that you can use to enter the ship proper around this hangar ring, but one is clearly glowing green and has been used recently.
What do you reckon? Should we take the path well travelled, Sil?
Um, it's a decision. Do we follow in their footsteps and rely on the fact that that'll get us to the same place they are, or do we take a poke around and see what's going on?
That's what I was wondering. It seems strangely quiet, don't you think?
Well, it's hard to tell from a hangar bay, but yeah, there isn't a lot here.
There's not many ships.
Oh no, I count really well up to 2.
That's why we brought you on as part of the team, to be honest. Your counting skills.
Well, yes, I'll put them up against Johnny any day.
Yeah, I would. Well, the poor old lamb. Let's. Shall we eeny meeny?
Okay.
And so, how many? I got a choice of, Ben. Does it?
There are 6 airlocks that lead onto the ring. The one that is glowing green is actually quite close because you moored very close to the other shuttle. That one's fairly close to you. There is another one just to the right of it, which has a yellow light indicating that it is currently not operating and cycling, but it looks as if it'll be available. Two more behind you have red flashing lights indicating there may be a maintenance problem with them, and there are two others on the sides with the yellow lights.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch poor Johnny by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So I points at the yellow one next to the green airlock.
Okay. Syl nods and walks in that direction, quickly checks it and just hits the button to see what happens. And
tense.
Oh,
He's gone through the door.
what a cliffhanger!
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
He's ever the performer, don't you think?
I know. He definitely.
I went through the wrong
knows what
airlock.
he's doing. I like to think, whilst we're sans Ben, that at the moment that Johnny's counting was brought up, Agnar was asking Johnny if he saw how many airlocks there were to the hangar bay. I counted at least 3.
At least 3. He's the baldrick of the crew. It's because Ben didn't like your name being above his being above him.
Oh, was it the same again?
Yeah.
I'll change it. I'll change it.
It's all right. He's back. He's back in control. There he is.
Yes, I think the thing just went sideways, literally.
Hey, Spezza, good to see you as well. Thank you for joining us. I'm just eating my onken. Don't worry about me.
It only takes a few moments, and then it does flash green, and you can open the airlock door and proceed.
Let's do it.
Okay. Inside, the airlock it looks a little bit underused, honestly, but it is fairly functional. Nothing that rings horrendous alarm bells for you.
So I sort of beckon Syl in, closes the door, and once the door's shut, and she goes to press the cycling. So, have I ever told you about the time I got stuck in a lift, Syl? 22 hours.
This feels like the kind of story I really need to hear on a different occasion.
I pooed in the corner.
Okay, I mean, now it just feels like a story I never need to hear.
I'm sure this one will be fine. And I don't need a poo right now, so we'll be all right.
Okay. And a few seconds later, the inside of the airlock cycles and the door opens. You are looking into another of those ready rooms, and it looks pretty much as sparse as the other one, though obviously you don't have anything to compare it to.
Well, this looks magical. So everything's empty. Does this one also have doors through? So there might be like bunks and things like that.
Yeah, there are a couple on each side as you head towards a sort of central circular area with the lifts.
Let's just have a... Seems very quiet. Do you mind? Let's just have a poke around and see if we can see anyone. We can always like, sorry, come in the wrong way kind of thing. Syl, but should we, now we're here, let's have a look around a few doors.
Okay. Would you like to pick left or right, first or second?
Oh, let's leave it up to the dice to decide. I'd like to take second and right, please.
Okay. All right. You walk some way through. At the far end, this ready room area basically opens out into a circular space with a column of lifts in the middle. And around, and you can see as you approach that there are some tables mounted on the bulkhead walls, and benches and chairs mounted, bolted to the floor for people to use to get ready or just relax when they're not actually being active. It's a pretty low rent kind of barracks place, and it looks largely unused. As you're getting up there, on the right hand side, there is indeed a door to one of the actual barrack rooms. And it opens without complaint as you hit the button. On the other side, you can see that there are essentially 8 bunks, single level, beds, on each side of the room. And at the far end, what's clearly a door through to a fresher and shower facility and all that kind of thing. Just before you get to the bunks, there's another little bit of seating area and a few chairs and benches and some tables. And, clearly this is one of those, one of those things.
Majestic.
It looks pretty deserted.
Look at him resplending.
Wonderful.
So beautiful. After such a fine description as well. Deserved.
Well timed.
So we're not even talking Mary Celeste, right? We're talking the beds haven't been slept in. There's no like bags anywhere. There's no hint of human life to be seen.
The beds don't even look like they've been assembled, finished. They're just bare. They aren't even ready for someone to sleep in.
At this point, Soraya will ping a little message through to Agnar. Say, "Hey Agnar, think we may have taken the wrong airlock." Covering our backs a little bit there, you see. She doesn't add that bit because that'll give the game away. I think we've taken the wrong airlock. Ended up in the barracks. This is totally deserted. This is not a ship with 1,000 men.
Agnar will pick an appropriate moment in what I assume is the casual conversation that they're having when one of the others is taking the lead, and he'll start typing out a reply. No, we certainly haven't seen that sort of activity. We're on the bridge, by the way. Take the lift. Please don't defecate in this one. It's owned by Sir.
So I'll message back. The last one was owned by Baron. And she sort of leads Syl back. Sort of has a mooch around, but I'm assuming nothing comes to vision, obviously, Ben.
No, it really doesn't look as if this barrack room has been used at all. Not recently.
You know what room has been used recently, and that is the games room of the Infinite Monkey Tales that have turned up. Thank you for joining us, monkeys, on this bonus Traveller Saturday. I hope you had a wonderful time playing this evening. I hope none of you died or went crazy or anything like that, and that life is good for you in the streaming world. For those of you that with us that don't necessarily know, I think Monkey Tales are great. They stream loads of really cool stuff. They start sort of a couple of hours before us on a Friday and Saturday, and they are magnificent. And if you don't already, follow them. They do some really good stuff and really nice visuals and maps and stuff like that. But anyway, Sora looks at Syl. We could keep going through different rooms, but something tells me that everything's going to look a bit like this. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. If they're up on the bridge, the next question, I guess, is do we go down to engineering or up to the bridge?
Now that's a better question. Engineering, very much my wheelhouse. Let's go down. Some ships have the bridge down, don't they? The bottom bridge, as they call it.
Bottom of ship.
The bottom of ship, the troll bridge.
And the bridge is literally sort of a wheelhouse.
It is a wheelhouse, yes. So let's.
So either way,
It's like someone must have invented a bridge that, right? That instead of going over something, goes under something. Yeah, like an underbridge. We'll just pretend it's an underbridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
I'm sure that'll be, a good enough excuse.
I think so. We could always say that I once served on a ship with an underbridge. Come on, come with me. I'll blame it on you. Let's go.
Okay. You head to a lift, hit the button, get inside, and inside there are a series of buttons relating to various crew decks. The bridge is marked at the top of the structure, and at the bottom there seem to be 2 engineering decks, one specifically identifying jump and one identifying mass systems.
Let's go to mass systems, please.
Okay. Where the lift stops, it opens onto a corridor. And as it does so, because the corridor appears to be long and straight and stretch off into a slightly gloomy front, we will take our attention back onto the bridge,
Away from the gloomy front.
where Agnar and Johnny and Tally as well are confronted with another person. Not just one. There is a second individual, and as you make your way across what is a fairly substantial bridge, lots of positions, in a pilot position, though doesn't appear to actually be doing anything, just sitting, leaning back in the seat, there is another figure who seems completely relaxed and not actually doing anything or reacting in any particular way. She's wearing a spacesuit, but her helmet is off, and she looks reasonably early middle age, maybe late 30s kind of age-ish. She's human, and she looks fairly bored.
Agnar will stride over and introduce himself. Hello, I'm Agnar Arnson. Offer out my hand.
Can you roll a stealth with Dex for me, please?
Very much. No, actually, it's not too bad. Not his wheelhouse, but reasonable. That's a double 2 on the dice, though, for a 4 plus 3, 7.
Okay. As you approach, she hears you approach and turns her head and says, "Hi." And then she sort of peers around and sees Locke, and she says, "Are these who you went to get?" And Locke sort of shrugs and says, "Not really. This is Tally," and points out Tally. The others just came along. And she gets up, walks over to you, Agnar, and says, "We could use the help. Maggie Leaf, nice to meet you."
Spell him, please.
Majy
Majy. Yep.
Leef.
Leef. Thank you.
And having said her hello, she walks across and stands in front of Tally and says, "So you're Tally. That means we can go." And Locke sort of nods slowly and says, "Well, yeah, I guess so." And Tally says, "I think we should probably make that decision after we've found out what's going on here." And he says, of course, the bridge, yes? And indicates that everyone should join him in a seating area towards the back of the bridge, which has a big computer table set up with where you can display charts and things of that nature. It doesn't appear to work. So it's just a table now. And from where you can see, it's pretty much covered in coffee rings and things of that nature.
Agno will walk over as well, and as he does, are these the only two people on here?
On the bridge, yes.
So there's an awful lot of. This is a very well equipped vessel and bridge. Is it just the two of you? Is this your senior officer pilot?
Locke says, childhood friend, really. A volunteer. Came along to help.
Good. Help, you mentioned. What, and he'll sort of, he'll look towards our host and then look back at look back at Leaf. What do you require help with?
Well, we're done. We've got Tally.
Well, then my help is all yours, of course. I'm glad we could be of such great assistance that we were done before we were even needed.
And so they sit down, and as Tally sits down, Locke is now sort of largely ignoring everyone else and talking straight to her. And as he does, he realizes he's still got his helmet on, and he pops it off, and you can see his face. He's not someone you recognize, and he looks quite young, a little younger than Maggie, probably, but not by much. And a bit like he's not usually this scruffy. He's not completely comfortable in this environment. And he says, Tally, I came here as quickly as I could. And she pops her helmet on and says, as quickly as you could was a year. I mean, I'm sure you had other things going on, but he said, there was a few things I had to do before I could come. That's true, but I promised they were all in order to get me here.
Get his pilot's license.
I
won't say that out loud.
It takes time. It took him 6 months to work out the name of the ship.
And she, folds her arms and says, "Okay, so tell me the story. You got a message saying I'd been kidnapped?" Yes. And then what happened? Well, so kidnapped is not really something I'm used to dealing with. So I went to my father and I said, I need a lot of money to procure a mercenary force to go and rescue my betrothed. And he said something along the lines of, It's a big galaxy. There's an awful lot of young women. Pick a different one.
Yes.
And so I kind of fell out with him over that, and I took what little money I had and I went to find a mercenary crew, and it turned out they're all much more expensive than anything I could buy. But well, I bumped into this slightly odd woman who said that she had an idea, and she helped me get this ship for not very much money. Scrap prices, basically, in orbit around this world called Osin. It was basically about to be torn apart, and we got it for a song, but it didn't work, so we had to patch it up. So it turns out I now know how to repair a jump drive if someone's watching me and telling me what to do the whole time.
Do you mind if I briefly interject? The woman, what did you catch their name?
Catch her neck? Well, yes. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't have got this far without her. Yeah, she's called Star Orica.
Oh. No, not. We are familiar with the area, but not somebody I believe that we're acquainted with. Sorry, please do go
on. Anyway, she knows her way around old ships, and in exchange for a lift off Osin and an opportunity to go somewhere else, she was willing to help. Of course, she wasn't that excited when I explained where we were going. And then this ship, you see, it doesn't have what you'd call an enormous jump range, so we had to go in little hops to get here. Which ate up a bit more time, you know. But I promise I did get here as quickly as I could. And as he says that, we're going to cut down to engineering. And Soraya and Syl are looking along this long, gloomy corridor.
Sorry, Ben, very quickly, as he carries on with the story, can Agnar take the opportunity to message Soraya? And it'll just be very brief and short. Star Orica, question mark, from Osin. Do we know
her? Sorry, I'll see the message. She doesn't have to hide to get messages or not. She's very open. She's one of those open people with messages,
especially when no one's around to see.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I never hide my phone, you see.
Agnar's got his underneath the table, staring down at his crotch. Typing the message.
He does the old typing without looking, like Captain Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I can picture this. Sincerely, Agnar answer. Syl, Star Orica. Is that a name that rings a bell from your Osin days?
Let's see. She thinks for a moment and then says, "No, doesn't ring a bell."
Okay, just a long shot. Apparently, something they must be talking about upstairs. Anyway, what do you think of the gloom generally? Are you a fan of gloom?
It beats absolute darkness.
Should we head into the gloom together? Flick a torch on if you want. Suits have them. I find it quite bracing in a way. Have I ever told you about my time in the Scouts?
Incessantly.
Yeah, good. It's 'cause I'm getting you ready for moments like this. Do you remember?
Okay,
Do
so
you
what does a scout do in a moment like this?
remember the first rule of walking in gloom as a scout is you must always remember the tale of Benny Ironseed.
Okay,
What did Benny Ironseed do that he shouldn't have done?
I don't think I'm familiar with Benny Ironseed.
Famous scout, very famous. He took his helmet off in an unknown environment.
Did
So
he?
so first things first, we never take our helmet off in an unknown environment.
Okay,
Second rule, we always go left. Go left, young man, go left. That's the Scouts' motto.
always
So
go left.
always go left, which means if we go, it's complicated because if we want to go, keep going forwards, first we have to turn to our right so that we can go left to go back in the direction we want to go. It's a quirk of the Scouts.
Okay,
Uses a lot of fuel when we're in our ships, but it'll make sense.
all right. And how many of these rules are there?
I've got a book back on the star. It's 913.
913.
913. We call them the scouting laws. If ever you want to know, just ask. I can bang one up for you.
That sounds like an awful lot of rules.
When you're a scout, it's dangerous, you know. The military, like they're always like, oh, being in the army is so difficult. Being in the navy is so dangerous. You guys just fly a ship around. No, it's deadly out there. Deadly. Not that I take it personally.
I would.
Well, I used to for the first 10 years on my own, but I learnt the laws, and now I like to share my knowledge with those that need them, like you. Now
Okay,
we're a little scouting party together now, Sil. You and I. You're like an honorary scout.
okay.
So
Well then, lead the way.
no. It's your first scouting mission. You have to lead the way. Just remember the first two laws.
Okay. And she glances down the gloomy passageway that literally just stretches out in front. She says, "Let's go left," and strides straight forward down the corridor.
Oh, make a scout of her yet. Soraya happily flicks on her torch and wanders after her.
Okay. At the end of the corridor, well, actually, as you go down the corridor, you see that this corridor is part of the entranceway into the hangar. And as you walk, you can actually look above you and see various parts of the mooring positions for the ships. And below you, some fairly substantial looking doors that could be closed to seal off the hangar bay, but are currently open. Above you, you can see your own shuttle and the other shuttle in this very large hangar. And at the end, there is a door which has slightly abraded away a sign that says Mass Systems.
Oh. Do you know Mass System, Sil?
Not personally.
Hardcore band from 20 years ago.
So the person who uses this cabin is a fan?
Must be. Come on, let's go in.
Okay. You pop open the door. Inside, it looks like the industrial parts of the engineering spaces of a spaceship have weirdly exploded. Everywhere you look, there are cables and wires and conduits draped at crazy angles across the space. held in place with tape and twist ties and things of that nature. The deck is covered in cabling, and where the floor panels cover ducts, many of them are missing or raised, and there are some serious trip hazards and potential things you could fall into as you navigate your way through the space. There's a slight fog in the air, as if something is leaking steam into the space. And though you can't actually see anyone, you can hear some loud clanging, and after each clang, a swear word, different one each time, and in several different languages, but all one person.
I appreciate the commitment to the frustration.
Exactly. I'm going to assume it will not take a roll for Soraya but tell me if it would, with her engineering skills and her experience flying a ship, that this is not a very well maintained engineering section.
It's absolute chaos. It seems to be held together mostly using duct tape.
Well, she'll nod at the duct tape. Maybe take one of the cables in hand with the duct tape on. Give it a little poke, a little nod. Yeah, that's good. That's good duct taping. Yeah. Cut back to anyone that isn't dead.
So are you going to march across this space, and if so, take it cautiously?
Can you hear that? So,
yeah.
Do you want to make a new friend?
Sure. Let's go for friends.
Let's go with the idea that we can make friends. Let's start there, and we'll see where we go.
Okay. And she starts picking her way across and over and under the cabling. As you move, I mean, you can see ahead of you, Syl is literally having to step over some things and lift some things up so that she can duck underneath them.
Before we get too far, though, can I message Agnar and say, in engineering, someone down here, can you get any information? ? And ping it back to Agnar.
Okay, and you're going to stop Syl advancing.
Yeah, like just for a moment. She's doing so beautifully, but just pause for a second. Wait for a second.
Okay. All right. So we will turn our attention to Agnar.
Feels the alert and momentarily stares down at his lap to read the message. Presumably the story is still going on at this point. Are we somewhere?
Yes, I mean, he's been explaining that he really did get there as quickly as he could, at least by his own account, that he had to rescue a scrapped ship, get it up to the point where it could move, and then jump very slowly and very cautiously across space in order to get here. I mean, why he couldn't hop on a different ship, he has not yet explained, but...
No, I'm sorry to interject again. It appears as though you could still do with a few of, quality of life repairs, I suppose, on the vessel. Is your engineering team as extensive as your bridge team? He looks at the two of them.
He nods and says, yes, pretty much exactly as extensive.
Not somebody else. Another couple of people that you picked up on us in, are they? What? Any names that might ring a bell from our previous time?
It's not so much a couple of people as a person. Star Orica. She's a bit unusual, but very keen.
I don't. I'm sorry. It's Star Orica. He looks over.
Mhm.
The person who you're dropping off somewhere else.
Yeah, that's the one.
Ah, well, in that case, it's definitely not somebody. And Agnar will look over at Johnny. Somebody that we're familiar with, right, Johnny?
Johnny has finally decided to take his helmet off. If for no other reason than I think to just be cordial, and he does so, and then shakes his head and says, "No, don't think I've heard of that name." And on a unrelated note, what exactly is that smell? And that's where we're going to take our break.
Oh, no. Oh.
Now I want to know what the smell is.
Oh. The smell of brain fungus. Well, I'm sure we'll want to come back to find out what the smell is. So while that builds in your nostrils, so let's take a 5-minute break to do what we need to do. So don't go anywhere, and hopefully we're going to find out what it is. I know I want to. So news on. Let's start a little break picture on. I'll be back. Please don't go anywhere. See you later. Hey, we're back, everyone. There's the Gluggen Spinland. There's a reason why the drink's being poured, Ben.
So it's time to recount another of the stories I was once told by our former ship's steward. I can't verify the accuracy of these stories. After all, he once told me he invented mitosis. Once he told me of a tale from that strange low-tech world. He was lost and stranded near an old structure that he was forced to approach. Inside, he found a place of nameless horrors, and you know what? I could tell you that he regaled me with some stories of horrific monsters that would terrify you, which he did. But this actually reminds me of the great horror he once faced down on the Baltic Star. As I recall, it was only shortly after leaving a planet with 5 or 6 days of jump ahead when Greyhill Bast, as ship's steward, entered the storage area behind the bar. And in one of the storage units, he noticed shockingly that the ship had been invaded by a complete absence of whiskey. Seriously, not a drop. That's the sort of thing that gives me nightmares. Now, on a spaceship, this isn't as big a problem as you might think, given you have limitless access to high temperatures, low temperatures, and low pressures. But only a few rounds of Greyhole were successfully produced before the engineers found the still and dismantled it. I mean, I say successfully produced. The finished product allegedly tasted of sadness. But, nobody's perfect. So please join me now as I raise my glass to the greatest and most inventive steward a ship could ever want, the late, great Greyhill Bast.
To the late,
Great
Greyhill
Bast.
Can I just say my big takeaway from that was that Greyhole tastes of sadness. I'm not quite sure what to make of that.
I wonder if there's any left. Reaching around in the storage bays. We'll have to find it when we get back. Make a note, Ewan. Very important. That's your note.
It's canon. Greyhole tastes of
Greyhole.
sadness. Yes. Okay. Well, where we left off, Johnny had just asked what the smell was, and it's actually Leaf who says, "Yep, we have no idea."
I did. Well, what's the biggest issue that you're currently working on? Are you working on the smell at the minute? Is there anything? We happen to have an expert engineer somewhere on planet. I'm sure if we connected with them at some point, they'd be willing to cast an eye over some of your bigger problems. I can't promise that they'd fix everything. So,
you want the list of the really big problems?
Yeah. Well, only if you're interested in some help, I could give them a call while we're here.
Well, I think engineering could use some assistance.
And nothing specific, just a general.
I think everything in engineering is, to some degree or another, broken.
Well, let me please continue the conversation. I'll just step aside and give them a quick call and just see if they'd be open to helping out. I'm sure they would be, given time. And Agnar will step away from the table and he'll call Soraya.
Hello.
Hi, Quan. How are you? Listen, we're just on board. We're just on board a vessel here. Sir Arlen Locke has got a ship on planet that's in need of a bit of engineering know-how, your expertise, if you will. It's got a very enthusiastic engineering crew, Star. But they're very short-handed and could do with their help if we can make that happen. That'd be great.
Yeah. This is Soraya. I think you've got the wrong number.
No. I've definitely got. It's definitely who I want to speak to. Go on. Don't worry. It's fine.
Short-handed, you say? I found out this week. Did you know that the man with the shortest hands, they're only 6 centimeters long.
No, I didn't. But yes, yeah, very short-handed. It's just the one. It's just the one person down in engineering, Star Orica.
Okay, I think I get what you're getting at. Thank you. I'll go say hello.
Yes, yeah. As the call ends, he'll continue fully. Yes. As I say, I think everything could do with a once over. There's certainly we'll aim to get you in contact with Star and see what magic you can work. Thanks. We'll hang up and return to the table. Unnecessarily.
Leaf says, "Thanks."
Pleasure.
And we will cut to engineering.
And Soraya will almost like take a hand off of Seal's shoulder. It's just the one, Seal, and it's that Star Orica from the sounds of it. So, and it all sounds quite friendly from what I can tell. They're up for the help, so let's head over there and not try and suddenly appear and give her a bit of a shock, shall we? Let's make ourselves known.
Okay. So Syl goes ahead. It's not exactly quiet anyway, because stepping over things and ducking under things, but every now and then there's a little hissing sound, and a little bit more mist seems to emerge into the space. It doesn't look like a particularly nice place to take your helmet off your spacesuit, if you know what I mean.
We would anyway.
But as you pick your way through, eventually Syl stops and like points into the mist ahead, and then she deliberately, makes a couple of quite stomping noises with her feet, so that she doesn't surprise anyone. And how close are you going to be behind her?
What, behind Syl or behind Orica?
Behind Syl.
Oh, only a meter or so, close behind.
Okay. Then, essentially, by the time Syl actually speaks, you will also be able to see the person up against one of the bulkheads on the side of engineering. It's fairly dark. Emergency lighting illuminates this portion of the space, and it doesn't cut very well through the hanging mist. Not that it's incredibly thick or anything, just it makes everything glow a sort of unhealthy looking reddish color. And you can see the woman who's up against the console. She's human and young, with long hair which is pulled back into a ponytail. She's wearing what looks like military fatigues, but they clearly aren't made for her. She's far too physically small for them. They're much too big on her, and she's got the sleeves rolled up to her elbows, and she's cut off the lower legs to her knees, so almost like a pair of long shorts. She doesn't turn around, but she yells out, "Okay, good. That panel over there, can you grab hold of the red thing and give it a really good pull?"
Firstly, so I'll have a moment where almost a flashback of seeing a younger version of herself, I suppose, at times. This plucky youngster, and then she'll turn to look around. Is pulling it a good idea? Can I make a roll or something?
Why not?
Using my experience.
This will be engineering power plant.
Yep, that's my wheelhouse.
Okay. And with education, please.
Okay.
Is it weird that I'm still hanging on a big reveal of a character and I think that this is going to be it now? You've got me on edge, Ben.
He's been waiting on a big reveal all night. 8 plus 1 is 9.
Okay. It's a pressure valve release switch. So when it is pulled, it will release some pressurized material from the fuel system and dump some of it into the atmosphere outside the ship. So it's not inherently a bad thing to do. It would be context dependent.
Okay. So Sarai will do it then.
Okay. So you pull the lever, and immediately there's the sound of moving liquid, fast moving liquid, and then you hear the woman yell out, "Okay, let go."
Sure, I'll keep doing that unless something within Sarai suggests that would be a terrible idea.
It seems reasonable.
Then I shall do that.
Okay. You let go, and the sound of rushing liquid stops, and then you see the woman reach into the large pocket of her sort of fatigue shorts and pull out something that looks like a very old, rusty kind of spanner, like something that you would not necessarily see in the hands of a skilled engineer, because it looks on really not in very good shape. And she just has it in her pocket. So presumably you're thinking it's just pure fluke that this one happens to fit the thing that she's going to tighten with it. But she doesn't, in fact, use it to tighten something. The clanging starts again as she just starts beating the side of the ship and a pipe with this spanner over and over and over again, and then eventually stops and sort of backs away for just a little bit, holding her hands up as if she's waiting for something to happen. And then she relaxes and turns around and says, "Great. Good.
I think you fixed it. That's it now. Perfect. Good work.
Yeah." And she turns around and looks at the two of you and says, "Who are you?"
My name's Sarai Kansari. Former scout, engineer, bit of this, bit of that, mimosa drinker, cheesy ball lover, fan of buckyball. Who are you?
Star. Call me Star. Everyone does.
Star. That's a good name. Where are you from, Star?
Well, I grew up on Osin.
Ah, Austin. I've been to Austin. In fact, my friend here is from Austin. Maybe you went to school together.
And you can see Syl saying, "I don't think we went to the same school." And Star says, "No, I didn't attend a lot of school."
You look like someone who has gone to the University of Life, Star.
Sure, probably. I mean, she walks over and pulls open a panel and examines it and says, "Yeah, I think the University of Life rejected me because I didn't meet their qualification standards." And she slams that panel and says, "Not in there," and walks around and opens another one. Yeah, here it is.
What How do you feel about the old? Were you there when Papa Krebs got replaced?
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Um. Well, it went great. I guess there was a lot of shouting.
Oh, very noisy, right? We were there.
You were there then.
Yeah, terrible time to take a vacation to Austin.
There's never a good time to take a vacation to Austin.
We got to see the sights. Got to go down a big hole in the ground. That was quite fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah.
done some time in those.
Yeah. Was that the Moho Mines? Or was that something else?
Yeah.
That was the Moho Mines. Yeah. Oh man. Look, oh, the old switch from about 4 years ago triggered. Got to do that. Yeah. We spent a bit of time in hospital. That was fun. Uh,
Oh, good.
got to have a chat with Krebs himself. Interesting fellow.
I hear that. I never had the pleasure.
Ah, but like any uh, like any young buck looking to improve your life, looks like you've got away from Austin. Are you staying with the ship? Are you looking to move on somewhere?
Um, she glances across it and says, "Yeah, this is the kind of ship you stay on for the rest of your life, if you know what I mean."
Only if it's a very short life.
Yeah.
Doing a good job though. You know, you could keep it going for at least another week and a half.
And she glares at you a little bit and says, "This ship will run until I tell it can stop."
Oh, how long have you been on it? This rusty tub. She's about. Sarai says that with a, with a warmth, I guess, the warmth of someone that's been in many terrible ships in her time.
About 9 months or so.
9 months, man. This looks like the sort of ship that would have been in orbit, right?
Yeah, I think it probably had a hard life, and then they put it out of its misery, and then they left it to rot forever, and then we put it back together, but not well.
But well enough. The jump drive on this must be shot, if anything.
It didn't have a working jump drive, but we stole one from a different ship, and well, we were glad it was in zero gravity. Put it that way. We wouldn't have been able to move it ourselves.
What jump will it give you?
Well, it depends. You mean on a good day or a bad day?
Let's be optimistic.
With a bit of luck, one.
uh, no wonder it's taken you 9 months.
Yeah. I mean, it took us about 3 months to get the ship to the point where you could stay on it, and then about another 3 months to get to the point where you could drive it somewhere, and then 3 months to actually get it here.
Yeah. Fair play to you, honestly. And is this pretty much just you and the big cheese upstairs?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose technically it's his ship, though. I mean, he can't run it, you understand.
So, if you don't mind me asking, why are you with him? Why'd you come with him? Sense of adventure? Sense of trying something new?
Not really. The real reason? I love these things. And nobody's going to let me be an engineer on a ship unless, they really don't have any other options.
It's true. You when I joined the scouts as a kid, I'd dropped out of university. I got in with the wrong crowd. But the scouts took me. I worked my way up, and you know, maybe one day you could be working on big ships, or you could take a solo ship, and it's your ship. Swoop off around, pilot it, fly it, learn on the job, keep it running. It's a special thing, when it's
Yeah,
just you and the ship.
yeah. I'm betting they didn't give you a ship like this one.
No, I don't have the skills to even fly a ship like this myself. Small craft, spacecraft, sort of low tonnage, really. The quick ones, not these big old beasts. So, to be fair, you've definitely got one over me on that. Yeah.
I mean, I can fly a bit, but not well. But we do have an astrogator.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice. That's helpful. How many of you are there on the ship, if I may ask?
In total,
Yeah, not including us two.
well, there were 4 of us,
Okay.
and then, well, one got off.
Oh, why'd they do that?
I don't know exactly, but I'm guessing they have some form of standards.
Ah, man. They just don't have a sense of adventure.
Maybe just a fundamental survival instinct. Anyway, there, for some reason,
Self-preservation.
Oh, our ship now is not this big. It's a bit bigger. It's a Baltic Star. It's a beautiful thing. It's kind of like if this ship was an ocean liner, an old ocean liner. Ours would be a cross-channel ferry.
big channel.
Little channel. We do have 2 working saunas though. Not to boast. And a bar.
2 working saunas.
Yeah, got a bar. Got some Moamp eggs. We've got everything that anyone could need. There's something called the emo side. I won't talk about it now. But it takes a team of us to keep this going, and it sounds like it's just you down here.
And she sort of looks around with the degree of pride at the fact that she's managed to get this going. And she says, "So those 2 saunas, are either of them as big as my sauna down here?"
I feel safer taking off my helmet in our sauna.
Does your hot sauna have the same smell?
Describe the smell to me.
Pop your hat off. You'll be able to smell it for yourself.
Soraya's she has visions of Benny Ironseed playing in her mind.
Rule 1.
Rule 1.
I'm going to say if it smells anything like wet dog, it probably has a very similar smell after Agnar's used it.
Yeah, that's like not being dirty. How long's it been smelling like this before she takes her helmet off?
Well, let me think. It's been smelling like this since we filled it with air.
For a few months. 9 months. 8, yeah. Well, 6
Yeah,
months at least.
over half a year.
Yeah. And you're not dead yet?
No.
Any strange growths?
Well, sure. The guy who left, he had a beard.
Oh, I never trust a man with a beard. Are you coughing up blood in the morning?
Morning? When's morning?
When you wake up.
Oh, I usually wake up when either an alarm goes off or someone yells at me that something's flashing red.
Oh, you haven't slept much for a while, have you?
Well, I take a nap here and there.
The smell hasn't made you suddenly want to kill a whole building of people with an axe, has it?
I'm better with a spanner.
It's good enough for me. Um, Seeing the importance of engineering, her engineering side coming to the fore, overruling her scouting side, Soraya flicks her helmet and removes it.
Okay. Syl will immediately follow suit. The smell is not pleasant. It smells like damp, rotting food. But it doesn't smell toxic, just nasty.
Yeah.
And then you die.
Yeah. Back to the living. Is it a smell that Soraya might have come across in her time?
Yes, actually, there's a chance. Could you roll? Do you have engineering life support?
No, I've got engineering power and I've got my jack of all trades.
Okay, then roll with your jack of all trades and your choice of intellect or education.
I'll choose intellect. So that's more something that she hasn't been taught, but something she's learnt about
She
over.
she might have encountered, yeah.
Yep, cool. So that cancels each other out. Is it the smell that when you follow Agnar to the head?
It is not that smell. No.
Ah, okay, good.
Seems very personal. Look, I don't think that's called for.
Yes. Incredible. I know what the smell of fart. I know what the smell of dirty
best
food
nostrils in the galaxy.
is. Best nostrils. Ah. She breathes too heavily and then is dead.
You smell too well,
You smell too well.
and that is the end of you. What a way to go!
What a swell! The irony of it all. Yeah, it was good enough, Ben. I don't want to say the number; it's embarrassing, but it was good enough.
It was good enough, was it?
It's very embarrassing.
If you you haven't tested it or looked in particular, but it's the kind of smell that suggests that the water recycling filters have not been replaced in a very long time. So the life support's ability to provide moisture in the air, air conditioning, water for everything you need on board the ship is not filtering out enough of the biological components to completely drain them of their smells.
So at least Soraya knows that we've now all got Legionnaires.
Yeah, exactly. Those are horrible things going through now.
The
Avian flu.
it's not necessarily going to be true on a ship that's this basic now. Normally, what they do is put a particular smell, which smells like freshly cut grass, into the recycling system, and then they use chemicals which neutralize any bacteria and things like that, which also delete that smell. So if you start to smell this quite distinctive freshly cut grass smell, it means that you're not necessarily putting enough antibacterial and things like that in the water system. It does not have that smell, which either means they are putting enough of that in, or it could mean they've run out of the chemical to make it smell that way in the first place. But they have been breathing this stuff for over half a year now, and they're not looking sick, just fraud.
Fraud.
Very well worded.
Well, so I'll find a wall or pipe that she's pretty certain will take her weight and tries to lean on it jauntily. Looks like your water recite filters have not been replaced in a long time. Looks like that might be your problem.
There's a sort of nod. Just, yeah, I always thought that was a chance. I mean, obviously, I could replace them if we had any. And then she turns and sees a flashing red light. 1 second, and walks over and checks it over for a second. And then she presses a button and calls up to the bridge. Okay. This is Star. Leaf, can you hear me? And you hear the voice of Leaf saying, yes. And Star says, how long before we land? And Leaf says, I don't know that we're planning to land. And Star says, oh, we're definitely going to land. The question is, where? And Leaf says, right, okay. We'll pick a spot. And that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Oh. Very quickly, Ben, could those of us on the bridge hear both
Yes,
parts of that
yes, it was
conversation?
over an intercom system.
Oh, cool.
Oh, excellent.
Oh.
A nice crash to look forward to next week. That'll be something to enjoy.
To brace ourselves for.
Exactly. Fun.
Certainly will.
Well, thank you, Ben. I like this little ramshackle crew.
I like that for no reason whatsoever. I'm just constantly on edge. Like any person that we come across who hasn't turned their face to us could be someone we don't want it to be.
Well, so far, these people haven't done anything particularly problematic.
Oh. No, not at all. And Ewan knows that there's only 3 of them on board. Agnar is slightly less informed, but at least I'm confident that we've met everyone now.
Yeah.
We have a weird thing of going between incredibly trustworthy sometimes, like incredibly trusting at
to
times.
A fault.
And then other times, like when we were on the seamstress, and we spent the first half of our investigation purposefully avoiding the chief of security, who was totally on our side, but for some reason we were trying to sneak around them.
And I like it. It makes things quite exciting.
It does.
Yes.
It does. You know what's super exciting? The thought of a Rose's cat.
Oh, right. Yes. Good. Okay.
So
we will finish with a Rose's cat. The cat pounced. The prey was a small glass. Not technically actual glass, but the word had survived any attempts to replace it with more accurate terms. Still, let's try. The prey was a small pressure-sintered synthetic thermostannosilicate. No, glass is better. It had little of the whiskey that had once filled it, but enough that as the glass fell, it spilled a splash across the bar in the Baltic Star. Dural Kaggs, who'd been reaching for a bottle to top it up, let out a slight chuckle as the glass rolled in a wide arc across the bar, dropping off the edge just before his fingers could reach it. He bent down and picked it up, and as he straightened, he saw a pair of legs walk towards him. He glanced up to see that the legs belonged to Rachel Axis, chief engineer. What are you doing to my ship? She spoke softly, but with clear accusation. He smiled. Well, first, it's a glass falling off a bar, not letting off a bomb in the engine room. She glared at him. It starts with a glass, then people leave things in the companionways, then the doors get blocked, then the whole ship goes to pieces. He nodded. And second, he went on, I'm not the responsible party. You need to direct your wildly disproportionate anger towards Caboodle. Axis glanced at the kitten, who was licking the surface of the bar enthusiastically. You're going to blame the cat for your glass. He shrugged. I take responsibility for the glass, which is why I'm picking it up, but it was the cat who decided it needed to be on the deck. Axis glanced back and forth between the 2 possible culprits. I'm supposed to believe that a small animal with legendary balance is more likely to accidentally knock a glass over than a man with a drinking habit. He grinned widely. Well, first, My drinking habit has given me a lot of practice handling a glass. And second, I didn't say it was an accident. Axis looked back at the kitten, the one possessed of legendary balance, as she sat upright, blinked a couple of times, and fell over in a furry heap. Cags affectionately rubbed Caboodle's belly. She is not good at whiskey.
Oh, love it.
Little caboodle.
It suddenly struck me as you were reading that particular one, Ben. I don't know why. That the kitten is IRL at least like 3 years old. I'd imagine by now. However,
Game.
Games.
in game,
Still about 2 months
very
old.
much still a kitten. I love it.
Beautiful. A beautiful thing. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Spinland, for asking. And I know, Sparrow, you would have asked if not.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you, guys. I hope you had fun with the story.
exactly.
So we're going to finish there this evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for hanging out with us as we had a treat of a Saturday traveller. Next week, I don't think anyone's got anything planned at the minute. So unless real life intervenes, it'll be Friday Traveller, and we'll come up with something for Saturday. So
Cool.
go back to double duty next weekend, usual time. So thank you, dear friends. Thank you for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you. If you haven't already, consider subscribing on our YouTube channel. Just type in Boys from the Baltic Star, because Twitch is giving us a hard limit now. So we've been moving all our videos over. There's roleplay, there's Truth Foragers, there's Ben and Ewan with the Fighting Fantasy books, there's my video game plays, there's loads of stuff over there to check out. We only need 901 more subscribers, and then we can put adverts everywhere and ruin all the videos. So, we hold out hope. But thank you, all of you, and hopefully we'll see some of you Friday. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. Same to you, my two dear chums. Let's all sleep well. Let's head back upstairs to the Baltic Star beds. Ewan's in the middle tonight.
Always.
Always.
Well, I always try. Always try.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to share these things around.
With two big spoons. It's like being in a cutlery drawer. We'll see you all soon. Good night, everyone. And
Good night.
Take care.
Good night.